Hello friends, welcome back again on this channel. Today we are going to do database and constraints theory in SQL. So let's start. What is database? Before going to an SQL, you have to understand one thing. Before starting in SQL, you need one database. You have to select which database you have to use and you have to delete which is not in use. Right? So first step is creating a database. Syntax we will use when we will go in SQL practically and see the cases. Just a theoretical part you need to understand. First, we need to create a database. We have to give a name to our database on which data we are going to store many tables, many heads, many row, many fields, and many records. Second, now we have more than one database, and I'm sure you are not going to use many databases in a one time, right? So the second important thing is you have to give a name which database you are going to use, right? Using a database. The syntax we will use in a practical field. Third, dropping a database. Yeah, many of times we have to drop database also because it's not in use or we have made the duplicate copy of that database or we have done so much of cleaning in the database so we don't need that raw data now, right? So there are many reasons for which we have to drop the database. Now let's move to constraints. What is this? This is very important factor in SQL database, guys. So focus please. Constraints are means rules. And a simple one line. What is constraints? It's a rules. And where we apply rules, where we need some controls, right? If I read these definitions, rules for the data in a table can be specified using SQL constraints. The kinds of the data that can be entered into a table are restricted by the constraints, and this validates the reliability and accuracy of that data. So there are certain rules which you apply on your database. Based on that, filter applies and a person or a data can be entered into your database. So you can say this is your control area, which actually authorize person to and stop person to enter any wrong data which is not desired by you or which is not ruled by you, right? So let's see how many types of constraints we have. So there are many much more. I have just taken some important and some highly usable, right? So first is not null. If I apply any constraints over not null, it will prevent to enter any null value in a database, right? If there is no, if there is null value, this will not allow user to enter that value. Second, unique. It always ensure to enter a unique value in a column, right? There is no duplicacy allowed. Third is primary key. If I talk about the primary key, it's a mix of the above two lines. Means not null plus unique. Both conditions apply here. Fourth is foreign key. Foreign key means a connection between the two tables, right? We will see in a deep. So for now, this is just focus on this. It's create a connection between two tables, right? So I can use the one table data from the another table also with the help of this foreign key. Check check whether the value is a column satisfy or not. If suppose I have given one rule to enter minimum 10 number of the data, so it will not allow to user the 9 number or the 11 numbers, right? So it's limited to 10 number. Why? That can be mobile number because mobile number cannot be less than 10 digit or 11 digit. Last is default value. If I set a default, it will allow a user to set a default value, whatever I will give. Now let's see in detail what is that. If we see the first one is not null constraints, it always ensure column not to have a null value. If I have given this rule to column 1 name, that means user have to enter the name surely. That cannot be blank, that cannot be null. Any column or whole data you can give this rule. this constraints. If I see the default constraints, what is that? So in a this constraints, we set up a default value for the column where no value is specified. If here I see the fourth column is a salary, and if I keep this blank, so by default it will take 85,000. Right? This is my rule. Anyone can change this rule, right? Third is unique constraints. What is that unique? Unique means it's itself specified. It's a unique, no duplicacy. If I have given any column as a unique constraint, means no one can give duplicate name or duplicate value here. If you see here, I have given that to a name column. That means no name can be duplicate. Sam cannot be two lines. Bob cannot be two lines. Julia cannot be two lines. Right? If I talk about the primary key, as I already told, it's a combination of the both, not null key and unique key. So it always ensure there is no null data and always a unique data, no duplicate. If I talk about the foreign key constraints, so it is used to prevent the actions that would destroy the link between the tables. So as I told you already, the foreign key always useful to use the data between two tables and make a healthy connection to destroy any data link. Right? I will explain this. Second, it also prevents the invalid data from being inserted into a foreign key column because it has to be a one of the value constraints in the table in respond to. Let's focus on the table number one. Right? In the table number one, I have some columns like ID, last name, first name, address, and city. And the table number two, I have only parents ID and the some order number and some order ID. So I can see clearly my foreign key column is here PID, which is always same and unique in a both tables, right? So it means if I see here PID 1 in a table number 1, so I have already data for against 1, it's a last name, first name, address, and city. And a second table, I can see against the PID of 1, order number, and over ID. So based on this, I can make a connection between two tables and have a one information from the both. Got it? Based on the one common foreign key column. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. We have covered lots of constraints today. Now let's move to a next one. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.